Hello and welcome back to the Rebuild of JOKAKAKA Evangelion podcast. I'm Jim.
I'm Sam. It's 1.11 version, Jim.
It's
slash 2.22.
Sorry, the show is called Neon Genesis JOKAKAKA 1.0111111. I'm your host and Sam is your co-host. Well, we're technically co-hosts. But we're here to talk about Evangelion Rebuilds 1 and 2.
Yes.
So technically, I'm going to add a technicality. Sam and I did not watch Rebuild 1 in its completion because I've seen it maybe 5 or 6 times, and I deemed that he only needed to watch certain scenes. So we scrubbed through the movie on Amazon, and I showed him like the cool bits, the changes, the very few changes. I actually looked up.
Yeah, I was going to ask. So,
a few changes I can go off in a second.
Before we start, so what is the general opinion of these rebuilds? At least 1 and 2 that we like. Do people generally like it? Like, I am very mixed bags about these.
So it's interesting that you ask that because they are extremely divisive, I would say.
I get that.
A lot of people really love them, and when we talk about 2, I have a lot of personal thoughts that I want to bring in.
I can tell the people that fucking love the waifu war loves this.
It's like, I hate to say it, but it feels like it's almost like a flanderized version of Evangelion.
Yes, exactly.
It kind of misses all of the things that I really think are like incredible about the original series, and it sort of packages characters up in ways that don't really work.
I'm sure you'll bring up maybe some of the like things I was talking about when we were watching it at all, but like okay, I remember when we originally did the series, like I met a lot of these things that like I don't know these like common opinions slash like I guess the people talk about the most. Like I don't know how they got it out of the original series, and then I watched this. I'm like, this answers how I think people got that mentality of the waifu war.
Yeah,
like that's the thing they got out of this.
So I think importantly to mention, Eva 1.0, the original, like first rebuild. I believe it came out in 2007. I'm just checking right now.
I believe so.
The fucking website's not working. So yes, it did come out September 1st, 2007. So that is about 10 years after the original series had ended.
Yeah.
So we have 10 years of like fan discussion,
fan
theories, rapid, a rampant marketization, commercialization of the franchise to the point where, think about like all the anime that came out in that time where characters are like literally like Rei clones or Asuka clones. Like,
yes. The tsundere tropes.
Yeah, tsundere as like a trope is like often so heavily associated with Asuka.
Yes.
That like we have and she's not in the first rebuild, but like when the second one comes around, you see like it's such a strange version of that character.
Yes.
I don't even consider that version of Asuka to be similar to the first.
Like,
almost at all.
And when we were watching, I'm like, this is like completely different from the introduction of like, because she, this is way later we're gonna talk about, but like where she goes from like, you know, kind of being like friendly to Shinji to kind of like, you know, to brag about herself about how great she is to her just being hostile right away.
Yeah, I think, just to really quickly talk about that before we go into it later, I think that like the rebuilds are in this weird place because they want to do Eva again, and like the first rebuild, it's very strict about following like literally like almost shot for shot recreating some of the episodes, and then with there's a few little things in there that are like way different, or scenes that come like literally like halfway into the series they add, but for the most part it's a pretty faithful recreation of the first 6 episodes. And then right in the beginning, 2.0 completely abandons that. We see like, so it's almost like a reverse where like in 1.0 there's a few scenes that are very similar or that are very different from the original, and then in 2.0 it's like there's only a few scenes that are almost exactly like the original.
Because okay, so we'll probably try to get into the first movie we watched, like kind of fast forward, watch some scenes of. The first major thing that like caught me off guard completely was Masato knows about Lilith and shows Shinji it right away.
Yes.
I was just like, what the fuck, man?
So I'm looking at the Ava Geeks wiki for this, and it's really funny. The way that they write this, they basically say like, because I guess Misato has a different ranking
Yes.
in this movie
Well,
technically.
well, in the anime, she got her promotion a couple episodes in there, but I think she just has that promotion right away.
Okay, so this is how this is written. It's kind of cheeky. Misato's elevation in rank to lieutenant colonel comes along with vastly improved knowledge about Nerve's operations and secrets. So she first saw Lilith in episode 15.
Yeah.
That's how like different this character is.
Like I said, this changes so much about her character because like her whole point is she's high ranking, but like there's still a million things she doesn't know and are doing behind her back that even Risco, who's below her rank, essentially knows more.
Yeah, like her entire relationship with Ritsuko is defined by the fact that they don't trust each other.
Yes.
Like the fact that Ritsuko knows so much more about the organization, is constantly doing things for Commander Ikari.
And it's what pushes her, to Kaji, like his whole thing, which that's more so again in the second movie, but like it just doesn't make sense just to show Shinji this right away too.
It's funny because I think ironically it makes more sense in like a realistic way because when we're watching the show, we know that the angels aren't supposed to win, but it's not until way later that we know like what the goal of the angel is. But if you're like a pilot, you think they would have told them like, okay, yeah, we definitely don't want the angel to come into contact with this creature. So it from like a reasonable standpoint, it makes sense. But from like we're rebuilding Eva standpoint, it kind of sets Misato's character up to fail in like a way that I think she uniquely she has such a different arc in these movies and in the show.
They cut out her whole character arc essentially, pretty much.
Yeah, so Misato, I don't want to get into the third and final rebuild, but
I thought there's 4 rebuilds.
Yes, I meant third, comma, and final, not like third, comma, and final, comma, rebuild. Yeah, because I was gonna call it 4.0, but it's not called 4.0. It's called 1.0, 3.0 plus 1.0
equals 4.
Thrice upon a time. So not to talk about her character in those, but in here we don't get any of the sex pest Misato stuff. We don't get like
being the tease.
Yeah, like she doesn't really. She kind of has a moment where she tries to reach out to Shinji, but it's like it's not really in the same context. Like,
yeah, because like
she just isn't the same character, unfortunately.
The big thing is like her like we have to learn like using that teasing stuff to like get her way kind of stuff, and then like as the show goes on, she like kind of like a big. Despite what End of Eva tells you, or literally both End of Evas, where like they try to make Misato one of the 3 love interests, I guess, where like I always got a big sister mother figure for Shinji, like for the most part, because she was the only one that would ever go after Shinji when he was having like his mental issues, essentially.
That's the interesting role that Misato plays in the original. She kind of like teeters the line between like a mother and a sister, but there's also this kind of sexual element as well that's from like the very first episode.
Yeah, but
makes things really complicated for Shinji.
Shinji got like completely unattracted to her after seeing how she is at home.
Once he sees how women really be, he's like, no thank you.
Oh, slob, drunk.
Hangs her dirty underwear up.
Yeah. Lives the fucking penguin.
True. Lets the penguin get under her shirt at night.
Yes.
That's a really funny shot.
Yes, I know she had a list, but also, so the ocean is also red.
Yes. Okay. Another big thing. It's weird because, like, obviously, I've been like deep in these things for like a decade now. But one of the big things as these movies were coming out was, is this a sequel to End of Evangelion? Because the oceans are red, just like at the End of Eva. There's a big streak of blood on the moon, like we see happen in End of Eva when Rei's head comes off. So it kind of teases out this idea, while still doing like the standard, like we see the Rei in the very beginning when Shinji's at the phone booth, like all those classic things.
Branched off timeline, but it doesn't make sense because like it was just Asuka and Shinji at the end of there, and it kind of makes sense they just have no memory of. Because the first thing he did when we go, like, I'll just strangle you now.
I'll just put my little fingers around your neck. I've
seen The Simpsons.
So. Yeah, there's a lot of like minor changes.
Yeah. There's also I started thinking. Yeah, you probably have the list there if you want to.
So one big thing is they renumber the angels. So in the original, the first angel that we see, Sachiel, the one that has the cool arms, he is originally called the third angel. In this, he's called the fourth. So, then
because like they number 2 was the one that's underneath Nerve, I believe, right?
I think Lilith is number 2. Number 1 is Adam, which was caused the second impact.
And And then number 3 is the one on the moon, I guess.
No, so number 3 is actually the one that we see in the very beginning of 2.0. That Mari
the
fights.
bones, the weird CGI
the boner
bones.
one, yeah.
The boner, but so that was weird. We'll get to some other weird
yeah,
stuff.
we'll talk to that. Let's talk about that soon. But probably the biggest change to the original movie, aside from the Lilith thing, is the way that Ramiel is done. And I would say, I don't want to call it an improvement, but I think the added focus is really appreciated.
Yeah, it felt like this is like probably what they wanted to do, other than just had like a non-animated floating cube. Like,
part of me really like appreciates the what do you want to call it? Like the simplicity. It almost makes it more alien, the fact that it doesn't like do weird and wacky shit.
Yeah.
But the addition of like the cool geometric like tessellation and also the screaming, like when it shoots, it's really cool.
Yes.
I like watching those scenes, and I made sure that we watched all those scenes because they're really cool.
Like watching it, like it just like changes. Like, even when it takes like a sniper shot, it just shoots spikes out and everything, and like multiple times.
When Shinji gets the shot on it and it like explodes backwards into shards, it's really cool. Also, the shot where the blood is shooting out.
You got a dog barking.
Yeah. The part when all the blood is shooting out and like it drenches the school, it's just really cool.
Very good.
It's as I said, it's not like better, it's appreciated. One thing I want to say is like, just because things are different doesn't mean they're good or bad.
Yeah.
They're just different. Like, so I want to say, like, it doesn't automatically make it bad that it's different. But I do have issues with things that are different as we go on.
There's going to be issues in good and bad for any kind of changes. But, like, this is just, like, okay, this is, like, what I kind of wanted to do, just being this, like, weird morphing thing. Like, it's like, the sniper shot's very, very cool. Like still very good.
Visually gorgeous. Like, that's one thing that I will say about the first Rebuild movie is, like, if anything, I don't know if I don't think it needed to exist, but it looks extremely nice. And it's a series like Eva is so commercialized that it doesn't surprise me that we got this.
Speaking of commercialized, there's also some Pizza Hut sponsorships in the background.
It's crazy to me that, like, I didn't know. I certainly did not notice these the first time.
I literally, the first thing I noticed, like, I seen that image from Code Geass, like, I know what the anime Pizza Hut looks like.
The Pizza Hut thing in Code Geass is so funny because it literally is like it's almost like a subplot. Because Cece, the character in Code Geass, she loves Pizza Hut so much that she orders it so often. She gets like rewards for being like she earns like reward points and like redeems them to get toys.
So I actually do have rewards from Pizza Hut where I can get a free pizza if I order enough from there.
Just like Code Geass.
Yes. But it's just up there with just weird product placements. But like Code Geass also had it like censored at one point.
It's true. So strangely, on the Netflix, the first season of Code Geass on Netflix doesn't have the Domino's, but the second season does.
Pizza Hut.
Oh, sorry, it is Pizza Hut. I was thinking of the Doritos, which are also a big sponsor.
Miku is Domino's.
That's true. Yeah, Doritos. There's a whole. So they do the one scene where Shinji pulls like the shelf and you see all Misato's beers, but this time he pulls another one and there's Doritos.
The color it makes it look like it's like the nacho one, but they're like a taco, flavor. There's a picture of a taco on it.
That's really interesting. I wonder if
I don't like Doritos, so I can't really.
Have I ever told you about when I think I was in Spain? They have a flavor of Dorito called Cool American. And it is just Cool Ranch, but it is called Cool American.
I mean, out of all the countries, America probably loves ranch the most.
Probably.
Like, it's up there with, like, people think of ketchup. They'll think of, like, probably America.
There is also American sauce. I saw that in Germany and Austria, and I believe it is just Thousand Island.
Yeah, because I remember watching like Vinny from Vineslook got a package from Joel from Switzerland, and he got American sauce. It's just Thousand Island. That's essentially what Big Mac sauce is. That's what American sauce is. Just Big Mac sauce, which is Thousand Island.
And I think you mean Sweden, not Switzerland.
Sweden.
Very different.
I'm fucking what do I? There's so much German in this.
There's
actually so much other languages in this movie that all just burns through my skull. But no, there was what's it called? So yeah, the scene's very good. But then there's like an after credit scene as well.
Yes. So there is I thought it was an after credit scene. It's actually not. Kaoru shows up at the very end of the film.
There's two scenes essentially.
Yeah, and Kaoru says basically. So Kaoru,
He comes out of a coffin.
So yes,
he's on the moon.
He comes out of a coffin, and there's like several other coffins there.
Yes.
So that's kind of one of the other ideas people, and all the ones before him are empty. So that's another thing why people think like, is this like is kind of like a timeline, like a looping timeline thing where like this is like Kaoru is having another chance at like, I don't know, saving Shinji.
He didn't do a good job because if he just got there earlier, he probably could have like literally manipulated him.
Because at the very end of the second rebuild, he does basically say, like, I'm here to make things right. This time, I'm going to help you, Shinji.
Hey, guys, what did I miss? Oh, no.
Yeah. So it seems like Kaoru is a character that's kind of, he's, like, aware that this could be, like, a sequel to the original series.
I think one thing they did stay were, like, when we covered his episode or two that he was in, that, like, I feel like he should have been in there earlier, and it would have made the conflict with Shinji a lot more interesting. But now that he's like completely aware, and he seems to be a lot more hostile than like kind of coming on to Shinji is very weird, I guess. But I guess we'll get there when we talk there. But yeah, he wakes up. There's like an angel that's going to become a Eva in production on the moon.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's his. Maybe that's his Eva. I guess that's the idea.
The blue one, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know
because they got rid of Rey's being blue because she's like orange. Her Ava's like orange, yellow orange the entire film, both of them.
Yeah.
So, and then there was after credit, like the next time episode was showing all Mari, and
it shows a lot of things that don't really happen.
Yes.
Which is something that's really funny, and I just wanted you to keep that in mind.
Because they tease Condom Boy and like in there, and like he just has like 2 moments I think in that movie.
Just to clarify, when Sam says Condom Boy, he's referring to Kaoru.
Yes. Because
I can't even explain, like, that joke is from, like, 5 weeks ago. I can't even explain it.
That's because all I see him on that merchandising for Evangelion condoms is all I can think about.
Condom Boy. Very, very sus that you would call the gay character Condom Boy, Sam.
Hey.
I'm joking.
Good on him for practicing safe sex, okay?
True. We do love a safe sexer. So I really don't have too much else to say about the first rebuild, other than it's pretty.
Yeah, that's like I say.
It's pretty and looks nice.
Yeah, because this one isn't really. The second one uses CGI compared to the last one. Like the angel just shooting the laser and blowing up buildings, melting mountains. It looks awesome.
It's incredible.
It's great.
And they essentially just do like the big Rey thing, like the big Rey arc,
yes.
the Rey 1 and Rey 2 arc from the first. And it's interesting because, like, whereas the original series kind of drops Rey,
yes,
this one it's almost like it does what it should have done,
yes.
where Rey is still a very important factor in like the sequel.
Rey stuff is what I like the most out of these rebuilds. Like,
yes, and I think like so for me when
it works.
Yes, it's
sort of like,
I think it does work.
Yeah, I feel it works better than like what they do with every other female character.
So for me, when I first got into Eva, Rey was certainly my favorite character. And looking back, I wonder if it was because of Rebuild 2.
Yeah.
I literally think that it was.
Probably.
Because Rey is really given a lot more focus. And that ending scene, I don't want to jump right to the ending, but the ending scene of Shinji like saving Rey from like the hell dimension,
I think it's
so incredible to me. It's one of my favorite scenes in the rebuilds.
I was like, they said they did like the magma diver thing of Shinji going to like probably a dangerous territory to save a female character.
No, but it's not like Magma Diver.
No, not like Magma Diver. But still kind of do that thing of like grabbing her, but more doing a better version of that though.
It's just such an emotional scene, like having Shinji get this like big arc of like reaching out for Rey physically across dimensions. It really works for me.
Doing that Magma Diver scene, but better, more emotional, and it fits better. Like it just instead of just a mission kind of thing, just using that kind of like saving somebody in like dangerous dangerous not getting out of territory because everything's failing. But yeah, there's more to it.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of I think anything else in that your list of changes on there
from the first one or the second one?
In the first one, that's worth like noting.
Honestly, not really. I was gonna jump to the second one to see.
Okay.
Well, there's one big change about the second one is the introduction of the character Mari Illustrious Makanami.
Terrible name. I hate this character already.
I was very happy that you were not a fan of Mari because I really don't.
She
like
does
Mari.
not fit this series at all. Like, all right, I guess we start with like, is there anything different, or do we start at the beginning of the second movie?
let's start at the beginning, which is Mari. It's literally Mari is literally the first thing that we see.
So okay, so I've joked about like I can't wait to hate this character. So her introduction is a lot of ink. This is like in America. She's speaking, and also oh my god, it's Koji, Koji Kaji speaks like English. It's horrible English in like.
Kaji's English is so fucking funny.
Like I'm like none of these Americans would understand what the fuck he's saying for how bad his like English is. But yeah, it's movies. But the thing is, she's like a trigger happy like I love fighting. Even I'm so fucking epic. I can't wait to fucking gun down this one. I will just say curse words. Like she's just like. She does not fit.
She's so immediately so sexualized too.
Yes.
She's like, "Oh, my boobs are so tight in this suit."
It's terrible. And she's piloting Eva 5.
Oh shit! What was it?
I believe it's
yes,
Eva
you're right.
5.
Ain't it? Eva Unit 5
It's like a
fights
weird...
the third angel.
The bones of the third angel.
Yeah. So they mention, I think. And it wasn't Kaji because I would have remembered it. One of the random people says like that it was kept in a sort of stasis, but it got out and its bones are the only thing left.
Goddamn Americans just leaking out.
Which I really just don't enjoy this opening scene at all.
And the angel is like a weird like fucking like isekai monster they would just fight. Like
You're just thinking of the shitty
Shield
Hero dragon.
But
yeah.
it sort of feels like a shitty like bone CGI dragon. And also fighting like and then the Eva suit's like all on wheels too, just weird.
Because it's supposed to be like an experimental unit, so I understand that, but I don't like it. It's the first like CG Eva we really see too, and it moves stupidly.
Yeah.
There's one cool part I like when the bones of Angel 3 like carve a hole in through the base and flies up, but it's a stupid fight. It's a big dumb stupid fight.
Yeah, but like.
Kaji does his episode 7 thing where he just leaves.
I'm taking Adam and I'm peacing out.
But it's not Adam.
It's not Adam.
We'll
get there. We'll get there. No, so yeah, so this fight's like very whatever. Yeah, it's like she does not fit Eva for the Eva pods that we've seen. Cause like Shinji does he kind of hates being a pilot for the most part and is using it as a way like he doesn't enjoy any of these fights that happen. Like Rei doesn't care; she's emotionless.
Yeah, she just does what she's.
Asuka just does it to show off, and like she doesn't really love it though.
Asuka does it because she thinks it's a way to provide meaning for herself when she's not.
So
that's not correct.
Just having a character just being like, "Oh, this is so epic!" Like,
"Oh, I'm so good at this. I love fighting Eva."
It does not fit at all.
It's so out of place so immediately, and the fact that she is such a marketed character makes me think that people do love her. So yes, Ano has said that Mari is based off of his wife.
She gives off big shitty OC, just better than everything energy.
So not to jump too far ahead, but she does just take control of Unit 2 at the end. Do you want to just have the Mari conversation now?
I guess so.
Do you want to address the Mari question?
The Mari in the room?
Yeah, the
Mari has entered the shelf territory of Mikasa and Raftalia, of the characters that we hate.
Yeah, so Mari, in this fight, not only does she kill the angel, but she also blows up Unit 5,
and Anasui.
But gets away.
And Anasui up there on that character we don't like.
Yeah. But she does epic. She kills an angel, and then she gets away, and then she has this line that's like, "Oh, I'm actually in control. Like, I hate that I'm using adults to do my dirty work," and because it's like a mirror of what Kaji says, but it's immediately making her this like really cocky sort of like I'm actually super intelligent and smart character when she's just a kid, presumably.
Okay. I mentioned when we were watching this as like when we did like basically my bullshitting along watching this movie, but she feels like that character in those old Eva visual novel games, or like where like you are just this friend of Ritsuko and Misato, like they knew from college, kind of character. Like this, like I think there's also another visual novel where she's like, it's the what's the government made robot that goes
Jet Alone.
Like, this is Jet Alone's pilot the entire time, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I was here the entire time, and just like better, and like the other main character, like.
So when I think she doesn't appear until the part when she does
fucking parachutes.
Yes. And you said it perfectly. You said this feels so ham-fisted. Like,
yes.
She literally parachutes into Shinji's life out of nowhere. Her boobs smack into his face.
Okay, and another like a basically accurate interpretation of this is like when you play like Persona Royal, like Golden or Royal, where like this is like random cutscene we had to insert to have the new character show up before they like become a factor in this. Like here's
She's
Marie.
DLC.
She's Marie.
Mari's like literally DLC.
Yeah,
it's so bad.
She is the equivalent of Marie. Like where I haven't got too far in the Royal to know what the new girl's like, but I think the new girl's probably way better. Where like she's like Marie. Where like I don't like this character. I don't like your personality. I'm sure you have your fan. But
oh, she certainly has fans.
But yeah, she comes in like boob first on the Shinji, and I hate that. And like I really wish she broke his like Walkman, because then she would have hated her like nonstop the entire time.
So what really upsets me about Mari is she is not just a fan service character.
No.
She's like literally like plot integral. Like if she was just a fan service character, I wouldn't hate her as much as I do.
And you have to vouch. Did I not predict what would happen with her?
Yeah, you literally did say while we were watching, is she gonna pilot Unit 2?
Because you said, oh yeah, they shelved Unit 2. I'm like, oh no. Cause like I know she has a pink Eva figure that I've seen that like she's just gonna take it, and like it makes no sense. And she also just crash land, cause like I'm pretty sure, cause like later on when Shinji's having his like I don't want to pilot moment anymore, and conveniently crashes, but then she like gets out and talks to Shinji like, oh, I'm gonna forcibly take you to your suit or get you out of here, kind of thing. I'm just like,
yeah,
fuck off.
Mari not once but twice crashes into Shinji's life and then makes him do something. Like
every time I see her, I'm like, get the fuck out of our Evangelion movie. Every time I see her, get the fuck out of here.
She doesn't feel like she belongs. So okay, just because we're talking about her, yeah, the fact that she by herself gets in Eva Unit 2, launches it, and is fighting like was Zuriel, I think it's called. And she fights Zuriel so well until she can't, and then she goes fucking Gohan Beast mode.
I'm like, you're immediately adding yourself to the romancing of going boo first, like attaching yourself to Shinji. I'm like, you're like the fourth romance option that like they want you to be canon, but like no one else really wants it.
If you had to rank all the romance options, where would Mari fall? Yeah.
So top one in two movies that I've seen. It's Rei.
Okay.
I guess Asuka's trying to be in there. It's like the second like one. I guess Masato, and then I guess it's gonna be Mari.
So Mari's dead last.
There's a far gap.
But so Mari is dead last.
Yes.
Okay.
I feel no attachment to this. This is like the same energy I felt when they like to like the romance of like Mikasa and Eren that I'd gotten in like that last episode where I came to the realization of, oh no, they are bringing this into the forefront.
You mean Meat Rider?
Meat Rider.
Meat Rider Mikasa. So
like I've gotten that, and I'm like, no, stop trying to have more romance options for Shinji, where like Rei is the romance option I've got through this. Stop adding more.
But so yeah, they just give Mari like all these epic badass moments.
Fight. She goes Gohan Beast. And I'm like, where did this come from? Why do you know about this? Why can you do this in Eva 2 that we're only...
So no other character had been able to like willingly berserk their Eva. It happens at like either...
Inside the cockpit. It's only really... Shinji's the only one that happened in the cockpit where like it happened like Unit 0 went berserk that one time. And that was like, try to kill Gendo.
Well, yeah, Rei was actually in there too.
He was in there, but like it wasn't like...
It's not something that you can like will, but like not only does Mari will it to happen, she like controls it. Because the only time we saw something similar was at the very end of Evangelion. Well, when Asuka dies, she almost like makes the Eva go berserk using her own will, but she still dies from it. Like Mari can just go. She can control her Eva off like whatever power. And go beast mode. I was like, it's so fucking stupid.
Like, usually treated as like a random shonen power up. Like this is like the nine-tailed fox going crazy on Naruto, but like there are more risks to that in like for the majority of Naruto, where like, okay, if you go this berserk, you have no control over it. Where like, if you get too many, but this is just like, no, she just controls it. She's fine. Oh no, you're gonna lose your humanity. I'm like, yeah, you're not really showing it though. There's no like, you're not showing me the.
Yeah, there's like no stakes. I don't feel any stakes when Mari's going beast mode.
Because when I see like stuff in transformations where like you see the risk to it, whether it be a stamina or like like Naruto, like I said, has like that whole it just like you lose control at a certain point that someone has to beat you to get out of, that's why they have characters to beat you out of it. Even Attack on Titan had characters like they can't control it right away, so if they go berserk, you have to cut them out. Like like but she just
there's like always there has to be like a consequence to it.
If you have a super power up that like and you just have it and there's like people say there's risks but you don't show the risk, it defeats the purpose of everything. Even Super Saiyan 3 had the risk of you just drain your stamina like nothing. It's super powerful, but you just have no stamina.
But no, Mari can just go super beast mode.
Even Super Saiyan 4 was just like if you reach it, it's super powerful, but you have to like tame your fucking grade 8 form or just be a Vegeta and cheat. But
it's all
Vegeta.
It's like it's just so stupid. I mean, I don't want to keep harping on about it, but like even like the part with like release the limiters, like it just feels like a meme now. Like
it does. And yeah, even like at the she just fucking does the best, and it just does not feel. She does lose, but like it still does not feel satisfying. She even like bites the AT field to get Rey to like instead of Rey like forcing herself through the nuke through the AT field, it just like Mari biting through it. And it's like.
Yeah, they just give her so many like epic moments.
It's just a thing that
it just feels unearned.
The people at Nerve don't understand right away. Like why can't she do this kind of? It feels so forced. My OC did the epic like.
She did the epic beast punch. She went beast mode. Yeah, I just wanted to get this out of the way because I don't want to talk about Mari anymore.
Yeah, I'm like, if you want, like having that satisfying group moment of like, Shinji, Rey, we got that when we get to the angel that they all have to work together to get to.
Yeah.
But like Mari just being there and doing it, it's just not. But
yeah, actually,
I don't like her. She's gonna be in more, I know.
Oh, sure she will. Yeah.
It's just I don't like this character. It feels so ham-fisted. Like I said, big. My OC can beat my Super Saiyan OC can go Super Saiyan 5 Gohan Blanco mode, and he has so much hair on him. He go Ultra Instinct Super Saiyan 6 template.
It's just funny, like when I had originally watched these movies, in my brain I think I thought that they were closer. This one was closer to the original series, but it really departs like so wildly from the series.
Yeah.
And like I just don't think it is really like paced well. Like it's suffering from the problem where it's trying to adapt. Like on avageeks.com, they had like a breakdown where it says it basically adapts the quote unquote action arc, which are episodes 8 through 12, but then it also adapts like conflicts that happen in 18 and 12 while also going all the way up to episodes 23.
Oh yeah.
It's taking stuff from like a majority of the series and it's trying to cram it into one movie.
Yeah, I think
and it just feels like not well paced.
Yes, I think that's the one thing. It feels like okay. I was trying to say, if you're a fan of Eva, you kind of understand the things they cut out, so you kind of have understanding. But like as a movie alone, if you never saw Eva, you'd be so completely confused about motivations and like character moments and. There's so many head scratching moments.
Judging it as a movie, it's really, it almost feels mean to judge it as a movie because it doesn't really work as a movie. It works as like a sequel to Evangelion.
It felt like so many different episodes just like stitched together.
Yeah.
And I guess since we're done talking about the Mari stuff, I guess like we could talk about
yeah, no more Mari.
Because like
Mari embargo from now on.
Because like we skip like they skip like the whole Asuka introduction arc.
So Asuka like just shows up. Asuka comes to us. Like we don't have to go get her. She comes to us.
We also just like she comes to them in an epic angel fight. They kind of redesigned the whale angel into like a
I would say they didn't even redesign. They just totally scrapped that one. This is like it's like a kind of a clock. It's got like a clock motif where the head has like an hour and a minute hand or a second and a minute hand. It's really weird. But yeah, it's just she has a big epic fight. It's animated nicely. I'll say that.
And I was like, oh, she doesn't have the iconic Asuka dress moment either.
She doesn't. In fact, it's funny because we get like echoes of her arc because we have a scene where Asuka encounters Toji, Shinji, and Kensuke. Yeah. So they kind of bring that, like, they didn't need to have those characters there, but they have them there so that they can do like like her being like bickery with them.
Yeah. But because like the thing, I think what I mentioned because like when we talk about the Asuka arc, I was like very impressed that like she wasn't hostile to Shinji right away. She was trying to impress him. She brought him along with it. Like it was it was very different what I cause, like you expect to hear from the tsundere character, the tsundere character, and all tsundere characters. And like this is interesting. Like she's not like a complete bitch.
She feels more like a genuine like character. She doesn't feel like a trope, which this movie makes her feel like she is just a tsundere in this movie.
She is the trope of Asuka that I have heard about for so many years.
To jump ahead a smidge, like in the original show, when Asuka went to school, she was so popular because she was like this brilliant Eva pilot foreign exchange student, and everyone wanted to be her friend. And in this,
and she
like literally, she wanted that. She loved it. But in this, like some random boy walks up to her, and while she's playing her Game Boy, or what did you say, her N-Gage?
Her N-Gage, yeah.
And she literally kicks him in the face, like. She doesn't want attention at all, but she doesn't feel like the same character.
Because like even like the only friend she really had was class rep, the actual like friend character to her.
And even in this, she like uses that friendship in like a weird way. Like it's they like make a gesture towards it, but they don't really like. And so,
but she immediately like attacks Shinji. Like calls him like an idiot right away, and like she's just going right into that like hostile towards Shinji, where like
she doesn't have a chance for Shinji to fuck up.
Yeah.
She just hates him immediately.
Where a lot of her hostility ramps up because of how much better Shinji is doing as an Eva pilot compared to her. Like his sinking, the progressive of him sinking to his Eva suit causes her to that wedge to be built up between them.
It really plays on her insecurities, because like for her being an Eva pilot's all she has.
Yes.
And then we just don't have the time in this movie to devote to like a longer plot like that.
And they even cut out the whole like her one-sided romance crush she has.
Yeah, I was shocked at how they literally don't even have like a scene where she like fawns over Kaji, because they separate Kaji and her introduction
completely.
So Kaji is more he just kind of shows up to be like that mentor figure for Shinji.
Yeah,
and also he has a lot of Misato scenes.
You saw the Misato thing, but yeah, that whole thing, which is like Asuka's like whole character is like in Eva is on that.
Yeah, I would say, and like more specifically, her relationship with Rei almost. I would say it's like perverted to a way that is uncomfortable to me. Where it's a love triangle.
Yeah, it went from her not liking her, she's like an emotionless doll, to becoming like a love triangle.
It's like she sees her almost as like a romantic rival, which I think is such a disgusting way to take that character. Like, it offends me on a visceral level to do this to Asuka.
Where if that early part to Asuka, like that whole syncing up episode, like if you got up to that, and I would have been okay. I guess, and like they had the Rey stuff we got in the movie. I mean, I understand. I can see how like it could be a romantic rival, but with Asuka, I get none of that. I get no like romantic. Like Shinji would not like Asuka at all. His romance is entirely with Rey.
Yeah, and it's funny because even in this movie, like Shinji in 2.0, Shinji doesn't really get like any romantic feeling toward Asuka. Like Asuka opens up to him one time, and he doesn't seem to care too much about it. Okay,
we're talking about some of the Asuka stuff because there's a lot of go around in there, but like they kind of, I was like wondering, are they gonna do the moment where she sleepwalks to his his room, because she does have like the mother doll essentially, but it just says Asuka, or it says
it does say Asuka. It's Asuka stitched on there.
Yeah,
it's like the problem with it being a movie, not to cut you off, but the problem with it being a movie, everything needs to be like hyper condensed to be like to make sense in one scene. We don't have the time to like really marinate on like why being a doll would be so offensive to Asuka.
Yes.
So we get this weird like she has a hand puppet thing that I don't like.
Yes, but the weird thing is are they gonna do the weird her sleepwalking to Shinji's room, and then there's a scene to come out of it, Shinji kind of being confused with her and her boob hanging out essentially. Because
originally that scene is like a sexual temptation for Shinji. Like he's looking at Asuka sexually, which he had not really done before.
And then she kind of definitely get the first tease of, okay, she has a mom issue. But it just turns into Asuka just coming into his room, sleeping next to him.
And then explaining her fucking feelings to him.
Yes, and then he does the same thing about talking about his motivations of like why he wants to be a pilot, and it doesn't come across as sexual or romantic. It just becomes like a friendship thing more so, and she still comes out like and then I guess she
okay, that's a really good point. I want to stop you right there.
Go ahead.
So literally like what you said, like they literally confide in each other like their motivations, which from okay, let's divorce all the romantic things. That is like honestly like a really great way to do this relationship because that was their problem. But the problem is that it just becomes a love triangle. Like Asuka just gets like obsessed with Shinji for no reason.
She gets obsessed with Shinji, and where Shinji's just like cares about Rei. Like where's like she had she sees her all because you get a progressive like seeing her alone. He went to him making lunch for her. And like it's very nice. Kind of trying to bring her into the group where like we see Rei progress. She misses a day, and we kind of she does it. She comes back and greets the class. Like,
and Shinji showed like he was like worried about her, and like, and it's good because like it does play on like the evolution of her character from the first movie and like the original series where she had no like consideration for herself or others, but like seeing Shinji constantly like it's this like repeated behavior of him caring about her causes something to change in her.
And seeing like everybody react like she just said hi to everybody. What the fuck?
And she like whispers it too. It's really funny. Like everyone's like whoa.
Yeah, even like when she because they do go off to have like a little like filler episode to the animal.
They have like they're like an animal sanctuary aquarium thing. It is jarring how quickly that scene begins. It feels like a non sequitur.
This is the equivalent of bringing everybody that we've met at school minus class rep to have this like adventure together.
Yeah.
And Pen even joins them, having other penguins around him.
Pen does show up.
And then like because Asuka sees like Shinji and Rei, like, Shinji saying, "Rei, I'm glad you actually came out and hung out with everybody." It's like crazy. And Asuka just on her Nextel Engage, like
she's jealous.
Yeah,
she's fucking like. I think about like how complex of a character Asuka is in the original series, and like this version of her pining over Shinji, it just doesn't work for me. It really
she should be
doesn't
this full
work.
of herself. Like, of course you like me. Why wouldn't you like me? Kind of like personality to it. And
and so another thing too, like we haven't really talked about it, but like. The rebuilds as a response to the original rather than like a recreation of like because the first movie was essentially just we're doing it again.
You summed it up right. It feels like a response to the original Eva series and took what everybody got out of it, which is all the wrong things that everybody got out of it.
Something that you said when we were watching was like, Ano, be sad again, or you said like Ano, be depressed again, because like that's a big thing is like the mental state of the creator in the original series.
I don't want to see Shinji's flat ass and Asuka's jiggly boobies out of the shower.
Well, okay, I'm not necessarily talking about that, but like the idea that like Gendo was in a very different position. Oh my god, I called him Gendo. Ano. I mean,
Gendo was an entire.
I think that Ano would connect himself to Gendo in some ways, but Ano was in a very different emotional and mental state, allegedly.
Yes.
From when he was in the original series, like. The original series, he was going through a lot.
I mean, yeah, you can feel that.
And this one, it's very different. Like. He still felt a connection to do these, but he had like a co-director. Seems like he wasn't really like 100 in my mind. I don't know. I kind of create this like distance between Ano and the rebuilds.
I mentioned a lot. There are things that I see he got out of this that he applied to like Shin Godzilla, like a lot of like the angel stuff or like the monster designs and like the scape and like still a lot of the like ground, a lot more civilian stuff, which I really love to see. Like there actually are civilians in this.
And we kind of talked about that. We think that might have just been like a budgetary thing. Like
still.
You couldn't really focus on that in the original series and get all the character work.
But seeing the choices, like having his wife have a wife character in there, and it just feels really weird.
So yeah, it's just like I don't know. I think the like creators mentality definitely, and not to say that like only sad depressed people should make art, you know what I mean? Like I'm not saying bad for Ano for being happy now,
but it feels like it doesn't need to. It doesn't need to exist.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't have revisited Eva.
Yes,
maybe I'm gonna posit that. Maybe we shouldn't have rebuilt Eva.
It happens in music too, where like you listen to like a band or an artist an album where they were going through some shit. And it's very good album because you can kind of feel that from there. And then you like listen to like they get clean, they get happy, and you listen to the album like this is not that good.
I'm literally thinking about Metallica. So I don't really care too much about Metallica. I love their first album. I still listen to it. I've been listening to it recently. But you know the what's it called? Some Kind of Monster. You know that like documentary that they made about them trying to make like Saint Anger, like one of their like really bad ones. and it's about them like literally going through like band therapy together. Like that is, it's so funny. Like Metallica used to be so edgy and like hard, and then it's like them trying to deal with their feelings, so they make like the worst fucking album in their discography. It's just really fun. Not saying that it's bad to be vulnerable. Like I think that's like extremely like cool in 2.0 that like Shinji and Asuka are very vulnerable to each other. Because that's something Asuka is like extremely not vulnerable in the original, but like it is really funny when a band like Metallica is being like, oh, I'm kind of sad that I don't get to do my guitar solo here.
It's funny that I had a band I like a shitty early 2000 like new metal I guess band I loved, and then like the first two I'm like, oh, it's really good, and like you learn like, oh, they were on drugs and kind of go through that, and then like, I don't know, after where he got clean, I'm like, this is not that good. I don't listen to this album nearly as much, and this is why he's not the lead singer anymore of the band.
I mean, not to, like, I don't want our conversation to seem like you have to go through trauma to make good art. No. But like,
there's definitely cases where that
many such cases,
where like the road to recovery like, afterwards is like a very good concept of an album or piece of work that can
But I would like to say, keep that in mind as we watch the the third and fourth rebuild. Like, it is Anno being in a very different state in his life has like major ramifications on the direction the story takes. And like, I don't even want to say it's good or bad, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But I don't even know where we.
Well, no, we were still on right. I think it's to the end of the them at the weird animal sanctuary where what's it called? Kaiji has like the conversation with Shinji there about Misato essentially. Yeah,
so this is another one that kind of like is weird and annoying to me. The fact that Kaiji tells Shinji about Misato's backstory. Like, to me it feels like they did this as like an economical like plot decision. Like, okay, well, Shinji needs to learn about this. The audience needs to be reminded about this. Like, we'll have Kaiji say it. But I don't know. It feels like Misato should really be the one that is delivering this to the audience.
She opens up to him about her trauma and about
and it's a way for Misato to connect to Shinji rather than like I don't know, it's just I don't want to be too nitpicky, you know what I mean? Like Ava's so important to me, and like these rebuilds are not my favorite thing, but I will get really nitpicky if I just keep focusing on these tiny things,
especially when they're trying to do a weird pseudo recap / original. When you combine new and old, you're gonna be nitpicky.
It's almost a worse affront than just doing a direct sequel. Like
if the what's called Gurren Lagann movies did this, I would be incredibly nitpicky, because if Gurren Lagann's one of my all-time favorite animes, and if the fucking those movies
they rebuild them,
they
well, I've never even seen those movies.
I haven't
honestly.
seen them either.
Maybe they do this,
but if they do or if they did, like I would be completely nitpicky. That's like one of my all-time favorite animes. Like I would be like, oh yeah, this time we're actually going hardcore with the love triangle at the end. And like making that even more.
What if Kamina doesn't die?
Can you imagine? Can you fucking imagine? What if the anti-spirals like
they're good
were
guys,
the threat
actually.
The entire time?
Yeah.
Like,
well, they kind of were.
No, I meant like they appear more.
They show up in the first scene. Yeah, funny.
It'd be interesting, but no, I completely understand though, Jim. Like I said, if that happened, like what is those Persona 3 movies they did? What if they just started changing shit?
I didn't finish them, so maybe they do, but they probably don't. It's just, I just think it's like, I'm always of the opinion, rather than like revisit old work, I would prefer the creator to move on to something new. So like Shin Godzilla is a really good example. I know we've mentioned it like 4 million times in this podcast, but it is something new for Anno. Like it's not him revisiting Eva.
It's him
he revisits a lot of concepts from Eva, but it's not like these characters again.
It's him revisiting his childhood of characters that he loved in his childhood, where he's getting to do now. And like doing it like in the Anno way of doing something original, like we're getting with Shin Ultraman and Shin Kamen Rider, like all that stuff.
Yeah,
but like he's not stuck with his original thing that he already created to redo. He can take it to a new light. And
also another thing that we'll probably talk about more later is like in this, like when we watch the other rebuilds, I think that it's kind of like Anno like wanting to take control of the beast and like
I need to make more money.
No.
I need to make money for my Shin. It's Vin Diesel making like money for
his vanity projects.
to make money for Last Witch Hunter.
No, but
and Vin Diesel's Wheelman.
I think it's him kind of wanting to like retake control of the story and give it the ending that he feels like he wants now. So I don't want to talk about this now. We'll get to it later, but there's certainly like a lot of forces in his life that have changed, and he wants to like a different build of it.
A rebuild?
Yeah. I don't know. What's the next part? Let's move to the next part.
What happens after the what's it called? I guess it's more like the romance stuff. Like I said, the one thing I like is like Rey learning to cook and like for Shinji, and she has like the band-aids on her fingers, and like Asuka does it, but like I don't connect to the Asuka one. Like I said, the Rey stuff I really fucking genuinely love. Like you see shots of her alone in like a chair in her room, and like you really like it's really sad. I just love all the Rey stuff in this. Like
yeah, and that's why going back to I think this is why I was such a Rey guy in the past because.
Yeah. I'm not getting my Masato feel of, like her awesome outfit. I get some good hairdo with Masato, but her character stuff is gone. So I'm really attaching myself to Rey more in these.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I said this. I'm like I'm more connected to like this Rey, and like I get her decision in End of Eva more from this movie than I got from the original series.
Yeah. I think a lot of it's more conveyed where Rey had enough moments with Shinji, and
other than the motherly moment, that was like it, and then they kind of gets dropped.
Well, it's also, I mean, going into the whole End of Eva Rey stuff, it's about like this kind of like accumulated feeling that, because that's not even the same Rey that Shinji knew. Yeah. It's a different Rey.
Yeah.
So, but this one, yeah, Rey is getting like, it's almost like her development's on fast forward.
Yeah.
And we get to see more of it. But yeah, the whole thing with like, so I think it gets a little silly with like Rey's plan is like, I want like eating food makes people happy. I like when people eat food together.
But
let's have Shinji and his dad eat food so they can be happy together.
Yeah, I generally like that though, because like
it's nice, but it's like I think it would have been more appropriate to have Rey be reciprocal about, because Rey's whole thing is like the big tipping point is that Shinji makes a bento box for Rey. And Rey is so touched by this, and she like washes every element of it after when she goes home, even like that little gross sushi paper.
And it's actually crazy because we know, I guess you don't get this. I'm not sure how we just kind of skipped that thing. The first, they probably do the same thing, but we know that Rey doesn't really clean up after herself in her apartment. It's always like dusty and dirty. True. She doesn't like She actually is cleaner in this, and she does clean all of like the Shinji stuff.
Yeah. So, and then we even see her like she's cutting. she cuts her hand like a million times with a sharp knife trying to like make food. I think it could have just been like, okay, Rey just makes bento for Shinji, but it becomes this whole thing where she's like, oh, I know that Shinji wants to connect with his daddy.
Yeah, because we do get that. It's in a weird order of like the Shinji trying to connect with his dad and like all that stuff, and him being proud of him.
Stuff is shuffled around a bit. So I guess we could talk about like the angel what's it called? The angel that flies from space.
Yeah, so when they have to catch and everything.
Yeah, so because that kind of leads into the whole like Shinji and his dad are on the best terms, where he says, "Good job, Shinji-kun." He doesn't say "kun."
That fight's very. I like all three of them being like a factor.
That's probably one of my favorite parts. Just like I love the idea that like the battle isn't even the fight. It's like running. It's literally just running, and it's so cool looking.
Yeah. Them like the weight of like the running, the breaking the sound barrier. I like Shinji having to catch it. I love what's it called? Rey like having to grab the eye that's twitting around, and then Asuka cuts it. And Asuka like get some. I should have done that alone. Like Asuka would have like been like, I got the kill. Like I got the KD. Like I got the most kills. Everybody, fucking look me.
Yeah, Asuka, it's funny because she almost goes into her arc about being insecure about her ability, but she gets over it, yeah.
She gets over that
because her whole thing is like, why did they have to tell me to do that? I should have just done that. That hardly comes up again in the movie. It's just about her like wanting to make fucking lunch for Shinji. That scene of like all the girls making lunch for Shinji is like
visual novel.
It's visual novel.
This is like when you on Persona, when you on Valentine's Day where you romance every girl and they all arrive with the bento box for you.
Yeah, I really am like, I've seen that gif of Asuka like making the food in her underwear, like the part especially where she like, it's almost like she grabs the camera.
He really likes a side boob in this.
There's a lot of side boob, but I've seen that gif a lot, and people like love this version of Asuka, I guess, because she's like the typical tsundere. But I just feel like so awful. Like when Misato's talking with her and she's like, "Oh, you crushing on Shinji?" I just feel like nothing but contempt for this version of the character, for both versions of the character. Like,
it's weird to have it's such a 180 to have her like simping over this adult man she can't get because he doesn't.
I love that so much more than her simping over Shinji.
180 Shinji being an actual like stereotypical tsundere to Shinji.
Because it's like the I like her being obsessed with Kaji because it's extremely inappropriate.
He's not interested. He knows that he doesn't like this.
It's also very like real. Like I talked about this before, but it's very common for people who are younger to have crushes on like adults because you're still like learning.
It's probably
what that feels like.
The most real way like somebody like he reacts in Evangelion of not being interested and kind of
completely brushes her off. Yeah.
Stop.
The one scene where he's like, like, can you fucking leave? Like I'm trying to like type on the computer. Like, why do you just come here and annoy me after class?
Yeah, it just, I really just don't like that. We do get a class rep cameo in this.
She does have a scene. Also, probably one of the Pog moments. We see Toji's little sister.
She's the Toji sister is real. Can we get much higher?
I love the cute scene where he's like rubbing his face.
Oh my
on
god,
her.
he's such a proud big brother. I love that. He's not the pilot either, which is really weird.
Yes, they.
So I guess. So is that whole plot of like the school being the academy for pilots like not a thing?
They do say Marduk Institute, like they do
like,
say it again, but it just doesn't really happen.
Because I'm like, why do you pick Asuka to be the test pilot? Like,
I don't know. I think this is a misstep. I think it's a way to get her out of the.
And Shinji
it's a way to get her out of like the fight so she doesn't job out because that's kind of and Shinji also knows.
I don't like that either. I like him not knowing who the pilot is, and then it being
like a terrible reveal.
Yeah, so when he pull him out, it's like he loses it. He's already losing it, but like he snaps when he sees who it is.
Yeah,
like, and it's just very weird.
And they have that little funny little chorus song play.
That song,
that scene.
There's a lot of weird things, like music in this.
I think it really works in the Rei scene because it like kind of opens up into like like there's actually like a whole instrumental track behind it. It's not as good at the scene where he fights Unit 3.
I was incredibly disappointed with the lack of like the sync one because that's a good like not Rei, but Asuka and Shinji episode. Like and like probably the most iconic thing, them syncing up. I would have loved if they like did it to when it's Rei, Asuka, and Shinji have to do it together of syncing up to fight to catch that thing. That would have been great. And like they don't do that, but
yeah.
So I'm trying to think of anything. What else happened?
Well, we talked about the Toji, like that whole. We kind of already talked about like he basically jobs Asuka out. Like Asuka does not appear for the rest of the movie after he eats her.
Well, I'm assuming this is like I know she even before we did the after credit thing. I know she had an eye patch in these movies. I'm assuming it's all she got was an eye patch after she got bit in this one where I purchased
Toji squished. Crushed, yeah.
Also, Gendo and friends go to the moon.
They do. So yeah, in the original series, they go to Antarctica.
Yes.
Or the South Pole, more specifically. Which actually we do see the blood red oceans. I think that's the only place. But yeah, in this they go to the moon, and that's where they see Karu.
No, they're like
shirtless Karu.
No, they're like, is that a guy? They're like, no, it
couldn't be. And then Karu looks down and says, "Hello, father."
I'm like, who are you talking to?
He's talking to.
So now the gay relationship that's going to happen is going to be incestuous and gay.
Oh yeah, we're just double dipping.
We're going down all the we're checking marking all the tags on Pornhub.
Oh, so one of the big twists, or no, I wouldn't actually call it a big twist. Big change is
they're also making the angel we saw on the moon into an Eva, like
which I guess that's the Eva that he has at the end of the movie. But what I was gonna say is instead of it being Adam that Kaji brings, it is the key of Nebuchadnezzar.
Sure, why not?
So
I heard that on a VeggieTales episode growing up.
I can't really tell you too much about Nebuchadnezzar. I think he was a Babylonian king.
Yeah, king. I remember hearing that name plenty of times in Sunday
school.
So
it looks very strange. It's like a mini.
It's like a spine.
It's like a syringe with like a mini human circulatory system.
They're talking like a key, but like yeah.
So yeah, it's presumably it is used for something.
Nebuchadnezzar II was the second king of Neo-Babylonian Empire, ruling from the death of his father. Historically known as Nebuchadnezzar the Great, regarded as the empire's greatest king of Babylon.
So yeah, he's a pretty cool guy.
Sure. Babylon, cool, I guess.
Good old Babylon. So
I'm looking for I go to Wikipedia. I always just try to look for controversy, but that's not going to be there. But yeah, that was weird. I don't know what the gimmick of that is, because I guess if it's still a syringe,
we
but
don't know.
it just looks like the fucking Aaron Titan at the very end of what we watched. Attack on Titan.
We really don't know what that is, but we do have.
Yeah, because they kind of skipped. They skipped that entire thing, other than that scene, and that's different now. Like we get plenty of Gendo being nefarious. He did do the burning hand thing, also in that.
Yeah. Oh wait, yeah.
They show his.
No,
Yui.
they did that in the first movie. That was in 1.0.
Yeah, they also show Yui.
They do. Okay, so let's talk about the Rei eating dinner scene. So Rei strangely has dinner with Gendo at
In
like
the
a
creepiest room in Nerve.
Yeah, at his office and like a really long table. And her conversation is hilarious to me. She's like Commander Ikari, do you like to eat food? And he says, yup. She says, do you like to eat food with people? And he's like, yeah. It's like, oh, do you want to have food with Shinji? And he's like he's like, I'm really busy.
I got trapped in this conversation.
And then he literally sees like a ghost version of Yui over her, and he's like, you know what, Yui, I'll fucking do it.
Yui said, literally, take care of Shinji. And he's like, yeah, I'm good.
And he's like, all right, I'll do it. Also, Rei is eating pills and like applesauce.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious.
It's fucking pathetic.
He's eating like a nice steak. But
probably why she loves Shinji's bento box, because it's like the best thing she's ever
It's
eaten.
real food. And he knows that she doesn't like meat, so he made it without meat.
You know, he gave her miso soup, and she had the cutest, like probably one of the cutest faces ever.
Yeah, Rei is very kawaii-fied in this one. Everyone's kawaii-fied. So we do the whole thing with the Toji fake out. Asuka gets a gross recolor of her.
Oh my god.
Suit.
Okay, let's talk about that suit, because I thought this wasn't the complete suit, because Jim's like, I hate this new suit. Wait, this is a suit. It looks like a piece where you make a gunpla, you make the buy. There's just one more piece that clicks in there, but they didn't put that piece in there, so it was just this orange thing where you see her crack.
Technically, it does say test suit, but I think
terrible
it's used in 3.0.
Just like crappy, like how Mari's suit was in the beginning of it.
No, I think I'm wrong actually.
Where Mari's suit looked more like from the beginning of the movie, looked more like a test suit, because that's what it looked like. This one just looks like a shitty, like, look at Asuka's fucking asshole.
All right, I'm wrong. It's only used in this one, but the one in
Good,
4.0 is really bad. I hated that one.
But yeah, it looks bad. It should not be there. She's like in a weird like purgatory like room with like her doll is there and all that stuff. I'm not sure that's supposed to be the tube. Also, in the tube, you just kind of see like it's clear. It does a clear thing, but you also see like a water effect, like the water bubbles in it.
Wait, what tube?
When they're in the pod.
Oh yeah, well that's the LCL.
Yeah, you actually see
I like that detail.
You actually see that detail.
I think that's a really great detail.
I forgot to mention that. But yeah, so yeah, that's when they do the whole test thing, and she goes berserk and everything, and Ritsuko and Misato get caught in a nuke, but it's not nearly as tense.
I think it's really bad that they chose Asuka to go into it. It does, to me, it makes almost no sense.
Yeah, it said, yeah, there's so many things that come into the original one of like what the school is, what happened to his like best friend essentially, because we see the arc he goes through with him.
Yeah, I honestly don't know why they chose Asuka for this.
And like what basically he was like had to do it because of his sister and everything. Like there's so many little things that come in there.
Yeah.
And like, you know, his like thing of like leaving class rep because he probably won't come back.
And so this is the scene that like everyone is on their way to Rei's house for lunch, which is, I'm honestly angry we didn't get like Gendo and Shinji and Asuka and Rei sitting at like a tiny table.
Scene, and then having like that thing, or no, then maybe afterwards having, because it would make like Gendo betraying Shinji even more impactful. Maybe.
Yeah, Gendo like sitting at like a tiny table with Shinji eating like shitty cut, like Rei's bled into it because she cut her finger so much.
It did give us drifting limousine Gendo.
That is a really hilarious shot. I love that.
But yeah, it's just very weak. Cause yeah, the fight happened against it. We get the iconic shot of it in the sunset. Not nearly as good. A lot of the shots are like not nearly as good.
Yeah.
The iconic ones. But yeah, they fight.
The fight's like okay. It's not even like as good.
So Shinji, wait. The first time Shinji just like has to.
So in the original show, it jobs out Rei and Asuka, like handily beats them, and then Shinji has to fight it but doesn't want to. This one has like, well then the dummy plug happens. Dummy plug is like inserted like the moment before the scene. Like it's
no build up.
Just added like
there's no tease that they're using it for like the mass productions because that's a big thing that happened that's alluded to very early on, and that's not going to be a factor. I'm guessing.
We'll see.
Unless they just like, oh yeah, mass productions are here. Oh no.
I don't think you're prepared for how different things get after this one.
I'm going by this one. I know I'm not. But no, so yeah,
we're like flying free to like. All right, well, yeah, keep going.
I do love the dummy plug, how that looks with like it really traps him in there and it puts it over his face.
That is really cool. Like the fact that it physically restrains Shinji, it makes him more like there and complicit. I think
a prisoner in his own body.
Yeah. It's really horrifying for Shinji. I think that really works.
Yeah, and like we said, he does win. I do love how it grows like the human arms out of the suit.
Yeah, that part's really cool.
That's very
and it pins Shinji. But once it goes berserk, well, not even berserk. Once the dummy plug kicks in, it just wins. Like
it usually does. It goes beast.
And even those scenes aren't as cool. Like it doesn't like the part when the big blood tidal wave happens. I don't like it as much.
Yeah, the impact, the cum shot on the truck is not nearly as good. So
the cum shot. So then right after this, it immediately cuts to Shinji attacking Nerve HQ.
I do love him stomping on the pyramid, and then in the fight afterward, you do see the pyramid being constructed in the background. I do love that little like detail.
So yeah, this is when Shinji does his like I'm quitting. It feels really abrupt in this because it's not spread over like a few episodes, so it's like
I'm gonna call you Also the Baka Shinji thing's also just inserted in there. Like I'm gonna call you Baka Shinji now.
Yeah, she call him Baka.
But yeah, so that's basically like Shinji leaves. But Rei finds his Walkman and keeps it with her. I kind of really love that.
Yeah, the Rei Shinji shippers, they feast.
They kind of made his like heads the Walkman more important, where it's kind of dropped. Other than for the most part, I feel towards like it's not important, it's just the thing he listens to.
Yeah, it's so in this they actually bring that up. They say how it's kind of a way for Shinji to shut the world out. He's able to escape his reality by like putting the headphones on.
Yeah.
Which kind of is just like saying the quiet part loud. Like if that's kind of what the whole point of it was in the original series. It was like his escapism.
Yeah.
So they're just telling it to us now because we're babies and we need everything spoon fed to us.
But I like Rei keeping it to pretty much give it back to him whenever he comes back.
It's cute. It's a good way for Rei to like reach out and do more than like nothing.
Disappear.
Yeah.
but yeah, so yeah, the one thing we talked about, but like oh they locked away Unit 2, and it's being so we had to think so Mari figured out a way to launch Unit 2 alone because she literally locked out everybody else, like, and somehow got it to launch, cut communications, sync with it,
unless like Kaji's helping her, which it doesn't seem like he is.
She just parachutes in like I'm in to sneak in, and I guess like you're not doing a good job of it still. Yeah, but she's not even communicate with with.
It doesn't seem like it, but so yeah, she launches Unit 2 to fight. Oh, so the big thing that like the climax of the movie, Zuriel, the big powerful angel, comes to attack.
The arm claw. Okay, so also another thing we didn't really mention, but like Masato just is drunk talking with Kaji and about like, oh yeah, tell me everything about this. I'm like. That's how that, and there's no build up to it. She just tell me.
Yeah, she's just like, and his response is like, I don't know. It's like, all right, great, thanks, Kaji.
It's just very weird that this is her motivation to be drunk and asking instead of just like the slow build up to like learning to not trust them. They're really bastardizing like Masato's arc. Like, I don't know, but yeah, the whole Mari thing we talked about earlier happens about just her just finding a way to just be the best in her stupid pink costume.
Yeah, she gets her fun little pink costume.
Yellow, pink.
So yeah, we have the final battle. The whole thing is like, okay, well,
the nuke is a lot cooler though.
Yeah, so yeah, Mari tries to fight Zuriel and fails. Then Rei comes out with the big fucking ICBM. It's really cool. But that kind of fails too. It's just a really good angel. So then Shinji gets the same scene. So, okay, we talked about it already, but like in the original, Shinji's in a shelter and then Asuka's head crashes in. In this...
And kind of the realization of like, it's only me. Yes. Everybody's fucked. I need to do this.
Shinji, within himself, comes up with the virtue to be like, I need to do this. And then he goes proudly to Gendo and says, I'm the pilot of Unit 1, let me do it. In this, Mari literally comes to him, carries him.
So she should be in a lot of pain right now. She should just be like literally dying. But she's like, ow, I didn't think that would happen. Ooh-wee.
Ouch, ouch, ow. Shinji, you need to do this, Shinji.
Get the fuck out of our movie. Get the fuck out of here. You don't belong in here.
She literally carries Shinji to
go away, monster. You don't belong on this earth.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to throw her out into the trash where she fucking belongs. Yeah, and then she forcibly grabs Shinji.
He doesn't even have say in it.
She's like, oh, I should get you out of here. Where, as we learn, she just shuts down, like, a couple steps away, so she doesn't really matter. And then Shinji just, like, walks away.
Yeah, Shinji goes
after
and
some
does
words of, like, wow, thanks, Mari.
So the big thing here, too, the big difference that happens is Zuriel eats Unit 0. Oh, actually, well, he does fit the head out, yeah, but and the feet. He doesn't eat the feet, but
not a feet guy.
He's not a feet guy. But its body turns into like the giant naked Ray that we see at the end of Eva.
He has boobies and everything.
Yeah,
CDs and everything.
Which I kind of like it actually. It's kind of
interesting.
Cool. It is interesting. I would say interesting is the right word. But so then Shinji has his epic scene. I'm the pilot of Eva. The Eva's not accepting dummy plug. We get the fight, and the fight's pretty similar. Like, it even shuts down at the same moment.
One little detail I did like is the glowing of the green and the red when Eva goes, like, of just Eva 1 and the berserk of it. I love the red glow especially.
It's something.
I like the red glow.
I think the red glow is a little silly.
Maybe because I like a lot of Gundam, and Gundam uses that aesthetic a lot. That I really like it.
I just think it's kind of, why is it glowing red? In the original, it wasn't green glow. It was green paint.
How will we know it goes berserk, Jim?
Because its fucking mouth opens.
Huh?
It's just kind of like whatever. Like,
Eva fans are dumb and they won't realize unless we hammer it to their heads.
It's everything is like amplified. Everything is like extremified.
I like the glow aesthetic on mechs.
I mean, it looks pretty, but like whatever. Shinji goes berserk, freaks out.
So yeah,
kills Angel handily.
He kills the Angel, but something weird happens, which is like the weirdest fucking thing to happen. Where
it's very weird.
Third impact happens, yay!
Yeah, so since Ray's been eaten, Shinji wants her back. So Shinji like literally breaks the laws of physics to bring Ray back.
So I was just like, because first I'm like, not like what, like like whoa, what is happening? I was like, what the fuck? Is this confusing thing that just happened now? It's
really weird, but I really like this, and I want to connect this to. So remember in Star Wars and in the new Star Wars movies, Rey in Star Wars, not Rey Ayanami.
Rey Skywalker.
Rey Skywalker and Kylo Ren have this weird connection.
You mean? Oh yeah,
where they like
forced phone call.
Yeah, they have this forced phone call thing. And so there's a part where they're separated, and what I wanted so badly to happen in that movie was what happens in this, where I wanted Rey to like reach out through the forced phone call and then like physically teleport Kylo, like pull Kylo Ren into where she was to help fight whatever Snoke. I don't know. What was it? No, the Emperor. It was just the Emperor.
Yeah,
that didn't happen.
Somehow, some way, Palpatine.
That didn't happen. I wanted Evangelion in my Star Wars, but I did not get it.
No.
Shinji grabs Rey, pulls her like into his Eva.
Yeah.
And then it also transforms the body of the Angel into a giant bloody naked Rey.
They made it more of a thing about like why Unit 1 is so important.
Yeah, it also grows a halo, like it goes Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
Interestingly, like Misato is like cheering Shinji on, saying, "Shinji, make your wish come true." And
but then she's like, "Oh no!"
She's like, "Oh shit!"
Second impact is continuing into third impact.
And so Shinji does essentially, he uses like the ultimate power of Unit 1 to like ascend and make his wish come true, which is bringing Rey back.
Hit this right. She's like, cause she goes the thing like, I do like, there's plenty of other me's, like I can be replaced. Like, no, you are you. I'm getting you out of here.
Yeah. Quickly. And then I think the movie ends with Kaji or someone saying, "This is the end of the world." Credits happen.
Kaji's like, it's time for me to arrive.
The credits happen, and then Karu shows up, throws a Lance of Longinus at Shinji. Actually,
they did tease like 4 of those.
Yeah, that's true. And then it stops the third impact from happening.
Hey guys, hey, how's it going?
So yeah, it seems like I'm gonna spoil.
I'm here for my boyfriend.
I'm gonna spoil it a little bit. I think they call this a partial third impact. I think that's what they refer to it in the sequel.
That's so funny.
But so the big thing is Shinji and Rei are still in the Eva.
Yes.
Karu is here with his.
Oh, we didn't talk about because like remember in when this happens when Unit 1 grows its arm back, it's like a human arm.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
It's like a weird glowing arm.
It's like AT field
I don't like
magic.
that.
It's not as cool.
No.
Growing back a human arm is cooler. They do it kind of with the
And guess why you get
Toji fight.
You get it more of like it's a human underneath that kind of like tease.
Yeah. And then we see the funny next time on Eva, and we see the shot where
Asuka has an eye patch.
Asuka's an eye patch, and Gendo and Futsuki are with a donkey on top of some mountain,
Yes.
presumably in South America. I would assume
Some Arctic mountain, I guess. Even though like fucking should be like no snow anywhere in this fucking world.
So yeah, that's a 2.0.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
I said a mixed bag heavily. Mari hinders a lot of this. Like I said, the stuff I really did like was the Rei stuff. I found that like a very heartwarming. The stuff I didn't like was the love triangle stuff with Asuka and like I didn't like what they did with Asuka. Where like I think Asuka was very good in the original one. And, like, all my inverses like kind of changed. Where like Rei was good and then disappeared, and it's kind of like could have wanted me for more. And like I ended up getting in this, but the Asuka stuff, like I don't want the Asuka stuff. Don't give it to me. And then Misato stuff is like not there. I don't like
Misato
that.
stuff really is not there.
Like,
I think that is like a really unfortunate omission because Misato is such a big appeal to Eva, I think, especially the original series. Not having her like character arc is really it feels like something big is missing.
And like the Mari stuff is just like stuff you can just cut. It's like a Marvel movie, stuff you can just cut out to make it shorter.
Someone does the no Mari edit of Unit 2.0.
Like I don't care about Mari. She's so tacked on. I get nothing from seeing his character. And the Kaji stuff I kind of like. He's whatever we're gonna do with him is interesting because like he's not really going as a spy. Because like, that's heavily there. It's like, okay, he's doing a dangerous mission, and you don't get that nearly as much in like any of these two.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know what they're gonna even. I'm trying to think of all the other stuff they have to like do from the show, like all the Asuka stuff. Because like she like got over her trauma during that entire thing of like her in the room of like just got over it. She got over it.
She's fine. I'm sorry, Sam. I have to correct myself.
Go ahead.
It is not called the Spear of Longinus or the Lance of Longinus. It is called the Spear of Cassius.
I don't care.
It is a Spear of Longinus-like weapon.
Great. Fantastic. I'm trying to think of other character stuff that's like gonna be cut out. Like I don't know. Like I said, this definitely feels like a different timeline. What's his name? Condom Boy. Kisuke? Karu.
Kensuke.
I don't know.
He's the other character.
No, yeah, he. I don't know what they're gonna plan with him anymore. I don't even can even do end of Evangelion stuff. I don't know like how they can even touch that or even like the break at the end with Shinji. Like they have purgatory. They still have the train purgatory, but it's not like
it is there. Yeah,
they don't stretch them out. They're very like quick about it though. Right. Like, remember how like a lot of the shots would just like linger and everything? Like, they had a lot of those. Like, those lingering shots aren't there anymore. Like, could you have a movie compact more shit in there?
Yeah, they try and do like the elevator scene. It doesn't really work.
The elevator scene was very weird.
It works less because that scene takes place like I think that's like episode 22.
Yeah. That shot
it's
like
very late in the series, and also
there's a lot of build up. You've seen the build up of like Asuka's resentment towards Rei.
Yeah, and that the basis of that resentment doesn't exist. Like I didn't mention this specifically.
The voicemail message with that Rei leaves for Asuka of
that's bad. That's bad. That's really bad.
I thought that was very awkward, like, very weird and awkward.
So one of the one thing I love about Asuka and Rei's relationship in the beginning is Asuka in the show. Asuka sees Rei, and she's the only girl in class that doesn't care about Asuka being like the new foreign exchange student.
That's why she doesn't like her.
Yeah, and Rei literally doesn't care. And Asuka Asuka needs attention so badly. That's her whole thing. So we have like that like scene doesn't happen, and we don't have that character arc. So when you try and do the iconic elevator scene. You are missing important context, so
You don't
it
have
just
that,
doesn't really work.
You don't have that long elevator shot you can where you feel the tension if you can cut it with a knife. Like,
Yeah.
if you're gonna pop the balloon.
Also, the animation of Asuka coughing is very funny. I just chuckle when I see her like.
Ray catching the slap as well, and then her seeing the band-aids because Shinji was pricing more for Shinji cooking is very funny. Like, it's weird.
I just have to say it's really funny to me. The avageeks.org. This is an old website, I guess, an old wiki that's not updated anymore. But they had a FAQ for this movie, and it's literally just like. So many questions like why are Gendo and Shinji visiting Yui's grave? Why does Kaji say blah blah blah? It's really funny to me that this is like the state of Eva fandom at the time, like just people being confused and wanting a quick answer. It's very cute.
And I remember when I said in the original series where like the Seele had to know that he was an angel when they sent him down to them, right?
Yes.
And like they actually do show that in the movie where like they are contacting him about vague shit.
Yeah, they're working with him at least. So.
Yes. So, anything else that I'm really we need to talk about, or scene wise, or any differences?
Not really.
But I can't. I'm dreading seeing more Mari. I can't wait for her to. She is the Mary Sue.
You should get really excited to see more Mari because
she
will show up.
No, she's the worst. I don't want her to see the best and know more transformation. To go even further beyond Angel.
Yeah. So just in summation, I think something that like upsets me about these is like there is such a love for Eva that when these movies came out, like Eva fans just latched to them so hard because they desperately wanted more Eva.
They're just drooling for more content.
And like the way I see the rebuilds, I have like almost no respect for them.
Cause like it's not like you can like do like an Eva's like in like Russia or Europe or anything like that because all the angels kind of convene towards Japan.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So the only thing you can do is like a character drama about like maybe before the second impact happened and like people want giant mechs because the story of Eva goes over their heads and just say I want to see waifus and robots.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been done.
I agree.
But I don't know. There's things I like about them. I really can't wait to revisit 3.0 because like that one is probably the most divisive. People hate that one. Yeah, oof. People hate it. Can't wait. So I'm really interested to see. I remember liking it when I had seen it. I wasn't like one of the big lovers of it, but I mean it's definitely geared to a certain crowd. But I'm excited to revisit it.
Interesting. Yeah, it's at my piece. I don't know it's hard to really get a feel. Like it does feel like very awkward of a movie or two.
Yeah, as a movie, I think it's pretty rough. I would say that 4.0 might work the best as like a movie. We'll see. We'll get there.
You know what it felt
maybe
like?
Maybe 3.0.
It's like the Persona 4 golden anime where it's just like it just quickly retells the story, but it adds like the new scenes in there, like here to add like this new content. It just feels very like it's not feeling like the pacing of a movie or a show kind of thing, where like you're just kind of like speed running.
Yeah, thankfully going forward, the other ones have like a very different story to tell. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm most interested to see.
Looking back, I think the one I resent the most is this one. Like,
really?
In hindsight, and it's funny because like I probably liked it the most back then, because it was like something old and something new. But I think I really resent like the path that this movie sets down, rather than like the path itself, which I kind of enjoy.
I think like the later Angels are like they're not gonna do the hack. There's still like there's the hacking one that could.
Karu, we know Karu. He's one of the later angels.
What the fuck other the psychology, the break your brain one.
Oh yeah. There's the one that was the mindfuck angel.
There are multiple mindfuck angels.
Well, the one is like literally the one that like rapes Asuka's mind.
They didn't do the spider one. They skipped that one. But I mean, some of these they can easily just do again later on or some shit. Like the what other ones? Like trying to remember some of the other angels. Wasn't there? God, there was another one in space that was the one that destroyed Asuka's brain.
That was the one. That was the mind rape one. All right. Well, I'm kind of done talking about this. Honestly, I don't really have anything else to say.
I don't think so either.
I mean, I enjoyed watching this with you, but from someone that just legitimately loves the original series and it means a lot to me. these Rebuild movies they're kind of rough, and they don't make me feel very good.
Yeah, you get to have the live Sam reaction too.
I do really love and enjoy the live Sam reaction.
It was weird. It's just a very weird thing that exists.
It's so funny watching this with you because the whole time you're like talking and trying to rationalize like the changes they're making, and like you're trying to like explain to yourself like why would they do this?
It's like us like live reacting to like the end of like JoJolion and just be like, why? Oh
yeah. It's really interesting too because like someone like me that's been with the series for a long time has like a lot of baggage with it, but you're brand new, so your interest in it, like someone like me, like waiting not desperately, but like waiting for the new movie, waiting like a decade for it or whatever, and it wasn't that long, but waiting so long for that and finally getting it, and like it feels so different than like just being able to jump right in. I don't know, it's strange. It's kind of like how my reaction to Fully Cooley and the sequels versus yours. Like you have like a much more like nostalgic, precious view of Fully Cooley than I did.
Yeah, the new.
I still hated the new ones, but I can't imagine if it were me, if that was like Fully Cooley sequels and the rebuilds are actually an interesting comparison.
Yeah.
But I would be furious if I was
just,
in
like,
that position.
Very not good at all, and the other one is just like there's some decent stuff in like the one, but not still a lot of bad in it.
Yeah, damn, those fucking.
We have 2 more of those.
Allegedly. Are they going to come out before Uzumaki? That's the real question.
Oh my god, that was supposed to come out this year.
So it's come out like 2 years ago.
That was supposed to come out like Halloween.
It got like it got COVID fucked, I think.
Sure it did. That's what they want you to say. But anything else, or should we just wrap it up? Should I plug it up?
Plug up the massive plot hole of why does Asuka care about Shinji now?
Just plug up Mari's mouth so she can't talk anymore.
plug her fucking lungs up so she can't breathe and dies in the Eva.
Thank you all very much for listening. If you like this, definitely leave a comment, or if you liked everything, like the podcast, whenever podcasts are on, you listen to it. Are these on Spotify?
Yes, they are on Spotify. They're on Spotify.
Hey,
no,
don't steal that.
They're on Spotify. Yes.
You can also, Twitter is still existing by the release of this video. You can follow the podcast if you're Jim. We don't know as of this recording.
It may not.
It's currently heavily on fire right now.
These are coming out, I think, in December. So
we'll find out. It'll be a good time capsule. You can also join the Discord in case Twitter does die. You can follow us on there because we'll probably post new videos for the most part. When Avon's kind of get lost.
That's probably,
on there.
Besides our channel, that's probably the best place to follow us.
Yeah.
In terms of just like we know you're there and you know we're there.
Yeah.
Like we don't know what's the future Discord is, but it probably won't collapse in a month. So.
No, along Elon doesn't buy that, we should be fine.
Oh God. What if he's just like that the Grim Reaper meme where he just goes to like every social media and kills it?
I bet Elon is a Mari fan.
Oh, he loves Mari.
Fred Durst had a video of like him like reviewing his like Ray figures in his like
that's
his house.
Based.
He has a Ray collection.
Based Fred Durst.
Fred Durst, known JoJo villain.
All right, we'll watch that later.
I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, but yeah. So other than that, I think that's everything. We'll see you in the Eva-Cast 3.0 or 3.33.
You cannot review.
You cannot review, sure. And that, we'll see you next time.
All right, bye-bye.